Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye. Om. Today we have to start the fourth chapter. The name of this chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Jnana means whenever we say Jnanam, we are not referring to Jnanam of physics or chemistry or mathematics. We are referring to the knowledge of self. And what is this self? This self means every human being. Okay, the very first idea is I, that notion of I. Where exactly that I, notion of I starts? So that is what we have to investigate. Is it the body-mind complex or is it something different? So that notion of I, where exactly does that I rest? So that is what is called self. So this self-knowledge, that is the answer to the question, who am I? The famous question posed by the Upanishads and also by Ramana Maharshi later in recent times is, who am I? Nan yar, that is what he said, he asked, who Ramana Maharshi. So the answer to the question is this self. So this self-knowledge is what is called Jnanam in Vedanta, not any other knowledge. Then Jnana and Karma Sannyasa. Karma Sannyasa means that is renouncing the action. What exactly is meant by renunciation of action? So that is what is, these 2 points are discussed in this particular chapter. And this chapter is actually in continuation of the earlier chapters. And actually this is based on some further question by Arjuna. We are going to see that. And if we see the overall structure of this chapter, I'll give a idea about the structure of the chapter so that we will just, you will have an idea about what you are going to get and see in this. The first few shlokas, Krishna is assuming that whatever has to be told has been told. That is, Krishna has told about in the second chapter of the Gita, that is Sankhya Yoga, he talked about what is called Jnana Nishtha. Then again, Karma Nishtha, he told in what is called, this third chapter called Karma Yoga. So Jnana Nishtha and Karma Nishtha, both the things have been told by Lord Krishna. And that is the sum and substance of the Vedas. That is, there are people who are interested in the self-knowledge. There are other people, 99% of the people or 99.9% of the people who want to pursue the worldly activities. And when you are pursuing the worldly activities, what should be your frame of mind? So that has been told in what is called Karma Yoga. So you pursue your activities. There is no bar. Scriptures do not suppress human behavior. Scriptures definitely take into account the ambitions, the desires of the human being, and they only prescribe the limit. Okay, you please move in this particular limit. That particular limit or framework is called dharma. You move in this particular framework. So that is what has been told in that chapter number 3. So about Jnana has been told, path of knowledge, and the path of action has also been told. Then that is sum and substance of Vedanta. And Krishna is assuming that he has told whatever has to be told. And but then there are some further questions. So that sort of discussion goes on from 1 to 11. That good discussion goes on. And suddenly some small idea about how this classification of human beings has come. So Krishna is saying in sloka number 13, there is a reference to what is called Chaturvarnyam. Chaturvarnyam is what is called the 4 varnas which are there in the human nature. That is, I don't say Indian system. I don't say Indian system. It is in human nature. The 4 categories in human nature. That is according to the guna. Chaturvarnyam according to the gunas. So that is what is told in that shloka number 13. That alone is one section because that forms a very, very important discussion in the entire Indian society. Then from 14 to 23, there is again elaboration of a jnani karma. In chapter number 3 also there was a reference to jnanis like Janaka, King Rama, etc. Karmanaivahi samsiddhimastita janakadaya. That was the line. That is, in spite of karma, though they were doing karma, though they were men of action, they were also jnanis. So a jnani is not barred from doing karma. So that is what we saw. So that jnani karma, there is an elaboration of that jnani karma. And the next few shlokas, from that is 24 to 32, again, there is again a very, very comprehensive meaning given to the word yajna. About yajna, we saw something in the 3rd chapter. That is, any socially useful activity or any activity which is meant for self-purification is what is called yajna. And that is some more, that is being told in some more detail in this 24 to 82, 32. And from 33 to 42, 40 to 42 is the last shloka. And in this 33 to 42, again about jnani karma, about how exactly is jnani, how exactly does a jnani perform karma in the society. So that is what is told. So jnani karma is equal to some karma sannyasa. Jnani karma is equal to karma sannyasa. He is going to say that. So this is the overall structure of the fourth chapter. So in this fourth chapter, the first shloka is by Lord Krishna himself. That is, it starts like this: Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So whenever we see Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, we have to remind ourselves that Sri Bhagavan does not refer to Lord Krishna, some Krishna alone, not some Krishna who is the son of Vasudeva, who is so and so, who is a character in Mahabharata. That is okay. All that is okay. That also is there. But whenever, why he is not, why Vyasa is not using the word Krishna Uvacha for all other people, he says Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Sanjaya Uvacha, Arjuna Uvacha. But here, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Why Sri Bhagavan Uvacha? That is because whatever the Lord, the universal being or the cosmic being says, it is something which is eternally relevant. And it is something which is eternally truthful, which is applicable for all the people, not only for some people who are there somewhere in some part of the world. It is applicable to all the people. It is applicable at all times. It is something which is natural. It is something which is a truth, which is based on the analysis of human nature. The analysis of human nature, that is, human nature is one and the same whether a person is born in India or Timbuktu or somewhere else or somewhere else. So an analysis of human nature has given some solution. And that answer is now being told by the Lord himself. When we say the Lord, that's the cosmic being, as we say, that cosmic being is one for everybody. So that is the reason why when we say Bhagavan, we have to remind ourselves, it is basically to remind us that this message is applicable for all people at all times, not only for some category of people. So then, let me read this shloka, the first shloka. It reads like this: Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. That is, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam. That is, Imam yogam. That is this particular yoga. And there is another adjective for that yoga. What is that adjective? Avyayam. Imam yogam avyayam. Avyayam yogam. Imam avyayam yogam aham proktavan. That means this sort of eternal yoga. Avyaya. Vyayam means what? Vyaya. Vyaya means expenditure. Aya or Vyaya. Aya means income and Vyaya is expenditure. Avyaya means that which does not fade away, that which does not go away, that is that which is imperishable. Akshaya. Akshaya is the same as Avyaya. That is something which is not, which doesn't go away at all. That means it is something which is there, eternally relevant. So that is the meaning of Avyaya. So aham means I have told this eternal truth. To whom? So he says, Vivasvate aham proktavan. Vivasvan means the sun god. I had told this to sun god. Krishna is saying suddenly, I had told this whole thing to sun god in the beginning. In the beginning means when Srushtiyadav, that is in the beginning of creation, at the time of creation, I had told this yoga to the sun god. Aham yamam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha. And that Vivasvan means Surya. In fact, we also talk about what is called Vaivasvata Manvantare, Kali Yuga, etc., etc. What is this Vaivasvata? Vaivasvata means the son of Vishwa. Vivasvan is Vaivasvata. That is son of Vivasvan. This particular Manvantara or this particular duration of time is said to be ruled by that particular somebody, some Manu. So Vaivasvata Manvantara, we say. So Vivasvan Manave Praha. Vivasvan told whom? He told his son called Manu. So Manu, we also know that Manu is somebody who is credited to have written that book called Manusmriti. And many people, we know that it is a controversial, they treat it as a controversial text. Some people, they also burn the text without knowing what is there in that book. So if we see what is there in that book, Manusmriti, In fact, recently when I was reading Ramayana, I found that Manusmriti is such a, it is so modern in its outlook. Manusmriti talks about widow remarriage. Are you aware of it? Manusmriti talks about widow remarriage. I never knew that. While reading Ramayana, I was just going, when I was studying this Kishkinda Kanda. In that Kishkinda Kanda, what happens? Vali dies and Vali's wife Tara marries this Sugriva. So to this Vali's wife Tara, can she marry Sugriva? There is a discussion. And in one of the commentaries on Ramayana, there is a nice commentary called Dharma Kutam. Dharma Kutam is the voice of Dharma. Dharma plus Akutam. Akutam is the voice. Dharma Kutam is the voice of Dharma. And in that book, it is written by a very great, a highly learned person called Triyambaka Makhi. If you have a chance of reading it, you can see that. In fact, that Triyambaka Makhi's commentary, Dharma Kutam, it is also available on the internet. Of course, it is totally Sanskrit text. Those who know Sanskrit, they can see that. So there, he has quoted that Manu. He has quoted that Manu, a woman can remarry. A woman can remarry under certain circumstances. Suppose a person, in olden days, people used to go away on pilgrimage or something like that, and his whereabouts are not known for a few years. When somebody's whereabouts are not known, this woman can remarry. So then, Nashte, Klibe, there is some sloka which I don't remember. Kliba means the person is important. Suppose a husband is important, a woman can remarry. And a husband dies when a woman is still young, the woman can remarry. So woman's remarriage is very much told in Manusmriti. So like this, there are so many things in Manusmriti which we do not know, unfortunately, and then we think that, okay, Manusmriti is only talking about Brahmin supremacy, etc. Brahmin supremacy is not there at all in Manusmriti. Kindly read it, those who have not read it. So anyway, suddenly I got distracted from this line. Vivaswan Manave Praha. Manu in fact is a king. Manu is not a Brahmana. Kindly know that. Manu was a king. And he is supposed to be, according to our tradition, he is supposed to be the son of Lord Surya himself. And Surya Vamsha, we know that there is what is called Surya Vamsha and there is what is called Chandra Vamsha. In that Surya Vamsha, the king is that Manu. Manu is supposed to be a Kshatriya. And Vivaswan Manave Praha. Manuhu Ikshvakave Bravit. Manu told his son Ikshvaku. And who is this Ikshvaku? Who is this Ikshvaku? Those who have read Ramayana, Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavo Ramo Nama Jana Ishrutaha. Ikshvaku Vamsha is the same as Raghu Vamsha. It is Ikshvaku Vamsha. It is called Rama is supposed to be from the line of Ikshvakus. Ikshvaku was another great king. So that Ikshvaku was the son of Manu. So Manu taught this to Ikshvaku. And Ikshvaku again, he again passed it on to his children and his grandchildren, and like that it came down and down till the time of, suppose, say for example, Dharmaraja, Arjuna, etc., etc. So it has come parampara praptam. Parampara means from father to son, from father to son, from father to son, it has come. So this is what we see here. Vivaswan Manave Praha. Manuhu Ikshvakave Bravit. Manu told Ikshvaku. Then here, of course, in the commentators, they have made a very beautiful summary. They have a beautiful comment here. Why was this yoga? What is it that is told here? How a king has to rule very, very judiciously, and how a king has to fight for dharma. How a king should not abandon dharma. What did we see in the earlier 3 chapters? The first chapter, of course, it is only an introductory by way of Arjuna getting dispirited and despondent and collapsing in that chariot. So that is what we saw. The next 2 chapters, that is Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga, they give the entire summary of the Vedas. The Sankhya Yoga talks about what is this path of jnana. Then Karma Yoga talks about how a person has to go about in the society and how a person has to fight for dharma, that is swadharma, shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. So that is what we saw. So this is the yoga. This is the yoga means this is the path. Yoga does not mean only breathing. Yoga, the word yoga, we should understand that yoga does not mean only exercises. Exercises, asana, pranayama, etc. They are also there. But the word yoga in the Bhagavad Gita is used to denote a strategy. Sankhya Yoga, Jnana is one strategy, is one path. And Karma is another path. So this combination of Jnana and Karma is what is very, very essential for running of the society. So the commentators, they say, this particular yoga was told to the son, and the son told his son Manu, and Manu told his son Ikshvaku, and then in the same line it came down, etc., etc. The commentators have written that this particular yoga is very essential for ruling the whole world. It is good enough to rule the whole world. Jagat palaitrunam kshatriyanam baladhanaya. Right, Shankaracharya here. Why is this yoga taught to Manu? Why is it taught to Ikshvaku? Why is it taught to some other kings and later all the kings down the line? It was taught to all these kings because this sort of combination of a sage or a Rishi and a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is a person who is ruling the whole world in a very, very judicious manner. And there is somebody who is teaching this dharma to him, this particular yoga to him. So this combination of a wise man and the ruler, this is something which is enough. Jagat palaitrunam kshatriyanam baladhanaya. So this Gita has been told in order to strengthen the kings. That is what it is told in the Gita here. It is not told to you and me to become sannyasis. Gita is certainly not asking us to become sannyasis. Gita is asking us to have knowledge. Gita is asking us to have self-knowledge. Gita is asking us to become strong. Jagat palaitrunam kshatriyanam baladhanaya. Kindly see, if possible, you see the commentary of Shankaracharya on the first shloka of this particular chapter. That is, I will again read it. Kshatriyanam baladhanaya. Baladhanaya means in order to strengthen, because it is only when strengthen means not physically. It is not in terms of army. It is in terms of dharma. A person has to be righteous. A person has to be righteous and he has to do this dharma anushtana. He has to fight adharma. So he has to be very strong. If a person has to fight, say even take a very, very common example, let us say. To take a very common example of some government servants, let us say. The government servants, every day, there is a tussle between the political leader and the government servant. Of course, both can be equally bad, or both can be good, or somebody can be good and somebody can be bad. So there is, in government, what happens is, there is a constant tussle. Suppose a bureaucrat is a fairly honest man, and suppose the politician wants something to be done in a rather illegal manner, let us say. In an illegal manner, if he wants to get it done, naturally he will put some pressure on this government servant. And this government servant should have all the courage of conviction. He should be prepared. He should be prepared to quit that place and go to any other place. After all, he is not going to lose his job. So that is what is balam. Balam does not mean any other physical balam and not some army and whatnot. He has to pick up some army and go and invade the whole earth. Not in that sense. The courage of conviction, the courage of being right, that righteousness, what is called righteousness. So a bureaucrat who stands for that, for a principle, he may get transferred. A bureaucrat may get transferred, but he will stick to his point, and then he will perform dharma. He will do dharma. And it is not as though bureaucrat is always honest. Sometimes a politician may also be good man. Politician may be an honest man. So that is just giving an example. I am just giving an example to tell you what is this balam. So balam is that courage, that moral courage. That is the right word. That moral courage is what is needed. So a king needs moral courage. And if a king and a wise man, if there is a good combination, a judicious king guided by a rishi, that is ideal combination. This line says, Brahma kshatriya paripalite jagat paripalayitu malam. He says, that is, if this good combination is there, that is, suppose, to tell a more concrete example, suppose the Prime Minister and his advisors, if these two people are very, very honest, the Prime Minister also should be honest, his advisors also should be honest. If they are honest, the country will really be strong. So the Jagat Palaitrunam, the whole country can be ruled in a very, very judicious manner. If something goes wrong between these two, then naturally it will not go well. So that is what this shloka means. Vivaswan manave praha, manuhu ikshvakave bravit. So this combination is very, very essential for the society, not only in olden days, but even today. Krishna is talking about the olden days, Ikshvaku, etc., etc. But this principle, the basic principle that the ruler has to be guided by a wise man, and the ruler also should be a follower of dharma. This is something which is very, very essential, even not only today, in future also. For any society, the ruler has to be righteous. If the society, if the ruler is righteous, naturally then there will be good governance. Then the next shloka, Krishna is saying, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshrayo viduhu sa kalene hamahata yogo nashta parantapa. So this again, there are a couple of points we have to see here. That is, evam means in this manner, parampara praptam. Parampara means from one to another. Parampara. Para means the other person. Parampara means from one to another, from one to another. That is what is called parampara. What is this parampara? Kshatriya parampara. So what we have to note here is, this yoga is not told to sannyasis by the creator in the beginning. It was told to the sun god, and sun god told his son Manu, and he told his son Ikshvaku, and down that Ikshvaku line to all the kings and all these what is called philosopher kings. So parampara praptam imam rajarshrayo viduhu. There is a beautiful word here, rajarshayaha viduhu, means all these rajarshis they knew. Rajarshi is what? Raja plus Rushi, a philosopher king. Who is this philosopher king? We will see tomorrow. Harihi Om Tat Sat.